Gentlemen, I wanted to hop back on and close the loop in corporate speak on last week's video. Yesterday, the new Ecoflow Delta 3 was available to be pre-ordered, and I had some questions when I posted the last video that I didn't have an answer to, but now I do. First off, the price. I was way off on the price of what I thought they were going to charge for this unit. In the previous video, I estimated the price to be, they're going to be right in the between $1,500 and $2,000 range. Maybe less than that. I honestly have no idea. When in reality, just the unit alone, not bundled with anything else, is right at 650 bucks. Not bad. Considering what the Delta and the Delta 2 cost, which you could still get, I think it's a pretty good deal. I thought for sure they were going to charge some new unit premium or latest and greatest, get some of their investment back on the technology that they've obviously invested in to make it, but that's not the case. 650 bucks, not a bad deal. I really couldn't even get it close to my estimate. The only way I could was if you added the 220 watt solar panel, which are admittedly pretty expensive. Bundled in with this unit is only about $798. So with the coupons and everything that's available on their website, the coupons, it's still not a bad deal. Less than $800 out the door for a perfectly capable unit, brand new, newest technology. Pretty good deal. The second bit of information that I wasn't really sure about when I made last week's video is the weight on the unit. For some reason last week when the announcement came out, the weight of the unit wasn't publicly known. So now that the unit is out, I'm able to tell you that the Delta 3 weighs approximately the same amount as an adult Corgi. Americans really will use any unit of measure but the metric system. That's what these companies think of us. But in reality, it does weigh 27.5 pounds or so. It's a little hard to nail down a number. At one point on their website, it says less than or equal to 12.5 kilos, which is right at 27 pounds. And I really think that that might be the first time I've ever seen less than or equal to. Are they not really sure? Anyway, I digress. That puts it right at about half a kilo, about 1 pound heavier than the Delta 2, but about 4 pounds lighter than the original Delta. Different battery, different technology, whatever. So in 3 iterations, they're keeping it roughly the same weight. However, it is in a smaller physical package, about 30% lighter than the previous units. All these little oddities that are here, the less than or equal to, corgis, what's the weight of a corgi? Really got me thinking about Ecoflow. And if you watched the first video that I made last year, my biggest complaint about the unit really wasn't even about the unit itself. It was about Ecoflow itself. And after I made last week's video, I really started thinking about it. And there were a lot of parallels between another weird company. Ecoflow is trying to make themselves like Apple. I think. I don't necessarily mean like a lifestyle brand, but something where they kind of hook you into the product's ecosystem, no pun intended, and then, I don't know, keep stringing you along, making you happy about things that you wish you didn't have, or take away things and then add them back. And it was kind of ironic considering that, today is September 11th. The opening for the pre-order of the next generation of their units also coincided with Apple's release day, where they were talking about the new things that they were coming out with, bringing buttons back and headphone jacks and things that they capriciously took away in the past. And now they're like, hey, look at us. We're the saviors. We brought them back. You shouldn't have got rid of them in the first place. Ecoflow is very similar. I know tongue-in-cheekly I was talking about moving the outlets from the back to the front, and I like that. The rest of the comment section didn't like that, and that's okay, because when the Delta 4 comes out, they're just going to put the outlets in the back again. Act like saviors, try to get you to buy more units. That'll probably work. And to be clear, little oddities, things that get lost in translation, problems with the Amazon listing, problems with their website. Like, for example, the Delta 3 unit being completely missing from their website, even though I even showed it in last week's video. This all just points to the Delta 3 Plus, but the actual Delta 3 unit is completely missing. No, nothing on their website about it. What was the accident? Putting it up there in the first place or not having it on there now? I don't know. Little oddities like that. It doesn't instill a lot of trust in a company. Of course, mistakes happen, typos happen. That's kind of normal stuff. As a consumer, you're like, yeah, these things happen. But when we're talking about products that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm sure these companies have spent millions of dollars in technology and in engineering, you can't hire a proofreader to make sure all your stuff looks legit, is ready to rock and roll. If you're going to cut cost, why would you cut cost so much so on the outward facing thing towards the customer? Don't cut costs in the units, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. They're just a weird company. And the comparison to Apple isn't necessarily a bad thing. And as somebody who owns both a Galaxy and an iPhone, don't ask. There is comfort in the Apple. It's hard to argue the fact that they're not really cutting edge anymore. I think they've given up on that space. But what they do, they do it really well. And I think that's Apple's strong suit. When you pick up your phone, you know it's going to be streamlined, easy to use, and it's always going to work. That's a positive correlation to Ecoflow. Man, do I like shit talking the company. However, the units themselves, in my experience, are fantastic. The reason to say all that is if you're really diving into the nuts and bolts and you really want to look at information, I really do think that Ecoflow could do a better job outward facing, getting the information out there. I think they spend a lot of money on not these videos because they're not paying me to make it, but to get the content creator out there, to get all the little minutia out to the world and then, kind of lifting the load off of them. They can focus on building things really well and leave the YouTube creators and the social media people to get into the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty. At least that's the way it feels to me. In the last video, I said I was not going to buy a Delta 3, and I'm sticking with that. However, I think I'm going to go with one of the new Rivers. It's time for an upgrade for one of my outdoor units. I think I'm going to go with the River 3 Plus. I think it's the Plus or the Max. I forget which one it is, because it's not on the website because it's not available for pre-order. However, it does have the watt hours that I'm looking for. I have an older Go Labs outside that I carry around for little things, and it does work really, really well. It just takes forever to charge. So for a couple $100, I'll probably upgrade to the River 3 Plus when that's available. Guys, I'll leave Amazon links down below. They are affiliate links. If you'd like to buy them, I'll make about 12 cents on it. It's not really that big of a deal. If you do, you don't. But know that Ecoflow is not paying me to say any of this stuff. It's just something I'm interested in talking about. I like sharing my opinions with you guys. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Goodbye. It's so hot down here. My God.